What's going on, everybody? It's TJ After Dark, presented by DraftKings for the Sanderson Farmers Championship, which is a PGA Tour tournament this going on this week. You may or may not know about it because most people don't care. It's a lot of NFL talk going on right now, but we are here as NFL fans to also discuss the PGA Tour, which I will say this. Listen, people. If you are one of these people who are gambling on the NFL, good for you. Go to DK Sportsbook, place those wagers, right? But maybe you're betting like a 4 or 5 team parlay at like 60 to 1. And you're like sweating that out, trying to get that right on a Sunday. Or you could just wade on into the waters of the golf world, like me and Pat here, and bet on golf that is highly variable, right? Highly variable game. And just last week, if you were subscribing to the Tour Junkies email list, you were put on Mr. Robbie Shelton as a first-round leader at 150 to 1 in that email on Wednesday evening. And if you put a little unit down on that, you are now 150 to 1 units richer. And here you are sweating an NFL parlay that you're never going to hit. Come on into the golf world. The water's warm.
Come on in.
Come on in, guys. I'm David Barnett of the Tour Junkies. This is Pat Perry with me right here in the horridly clashing Darius Geis jersey and Georgia Bulldog red Tour Junkies hat. We are the Tour Junkies. We just finished recording our podcast, which you can find anywhere you listen to podcasts: iTunes, Spotify, TourJunkies.com, YouTube, all the fun stuff. And now it's after dark. It's been dark, so now we're after dark.
It has been dark for sure.
Yeah. We've had some adult beverages.
We're well past darkness, so that's for sure. I've even switched to rosé. I was on liquor earlier, but now I'm on rosé.
Oh, Lord. And we're here to talk golf. We're here to talk about some disagreement that we had, Pat, on the podcast. We're here to give you some DK Sportsbook bets for the week. Let's get into it, buddy. Right off the bat, I have to disagree with you on a play that you're throwing out there in the 10K range on DraftKings, Mr. Lucas Glover. At $10,200, I understand a great history here. As I said on the podcast, if you know about Lucas Glover, you may know about his lovely wife, who beats him. And the only reason Lucas plays here is because his wife knows that the top 50 in the world basically don't even show up at this tournament. So it's a good chance for Lucas to go make a little extra quan. And that's good. He's a good ball striker. I don't like the putter. I don't like paying for a guy at 10-2 who couldn't make a putt if the holes were 8 inches in diameter rather than 4. So I don't know that I want to roll with Lucas in his first event since the Tour Championship at 10-2. I'd rather go all the way down to the 9K range and play some Scotty Scheffler, or possibly go above Lucas, better upside, more consistency with possibly Sung Jae. And I also like a little Brandt Snedeker. So I'm not sold on your Lucas Glover play.
Well, look, Lucas has had a great year. And actually, I think what you just said actually plays in his favor. I mean, he's got his wife down his, throat, wanting him to freaking, play well this year, this week.
You want a scared Lucas, though?
He plays scared every week. What does it matter this week? I mean, it's like every week he's scared. But look, he's just had a great year. He's made 20 of 25 cuts. He checks a box in DraftKings scoring, which is something you mentioned on the show as being important. He's top 20 in the field there. You mentioned ball striking. He's obviously a great ball striker. Checks a box in proximity. I think this is a course where you've got to hit these greens in the right spot to give yourself chances to score. And Lucas Glover, we know. Look, I know the putter is always a thing with him. But this year, he has been extremely solid just across the board all year long. I'm okay with paying up at 10-2 for some Lucas Glover. I'm okay with that. Now, I'm not okay with playing Brandt Snedeker at 10-7, which is who you like. I don't get it. Look, outside of the form, there's just not a whole lot to be desired here. He's never played this course. He's 107th in par 5 scoring in this field. He's 77th in proximity, which is a stat I just mentioned for Lucas Glover. He's 58th in ball striking, 47th in DraftKings scoring. So here's the point I want to make about Brandt Snedeker that I don't like. He plays the tough golf course as well. And if you look at his recent form, which I know you're going to quote, he's looked good. Outside of a T24, by the way, at Tour Championship, don't throw that out because that's a very tough course and there's only 30 guys in the. But he had a T5 and a T6 at the Northern Trust and the BMW. Both courses that played extremely tough, not courses that are easy like this. He plays well on those courses, and that's where you see him do well. So if you're just going to throw his form into it, I don't see it, and that's the big reason I don't like to see. I don't want to play Sneds because this is an easy course. That it's just not. He's going to get washed up into all this, the washing machine of the Corn Ferry guys and everything else. So I don't like some Sneds this week. Who you like? But I'm going to fade him.
Okay, well, actually, my data here that I'm looking at says that he gains the same number of strokes on easy courses as he does difficult courses. What he sucks at are the average courses. He likes it either really tough or a birdie fest. And I mean, I would argue, I mean, the Northern Trust isn't a hard golf course, so that's not a tough one. He finished 6th there. The RBC Canadian Open in June, he finished 4th. That's not a tough course.
It's a very tough course.
The RBC Canadian? It's not.
The Canadian. Sorry, I'm thinking of Heritage.
He finished second at the Safeway last year, which is next week. That's an easy course in Napa, I believe it is. I mean, I'm not buying that. I think obviously he's one of the class players here. And listen, the only reason I'm playing him is primarily because I do think he's going to be lower owned in GPP tournaments on DraftKings. And I have plenty of guys in the 7K and 6K that I like, so I think you can match him with the Brandt Snedeker and you have at least some winning upside. He can put it all together, whereas I don't think Lucas can do that. By the way, Lucas's worst putting surface, Bermuda, which these are Bermuda greens. Like, that's saying something, because Lucas sucks all the way around putting, whether it's on bent grass, POA, Bermuda, carpet, a putt-putt felt type surface, it doesn't matter. Lucas sucks on it all. But his worst surface is Bermuda.
These Bermuda greens he must not hate because he's gained 26 strokes on the field in the last 5 years here with a top 15 last year.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. It's not hard to gain strokes on the field when the field is this weak, which obviously
he's a class player in this field. So you just gotta. I mean, that's
I think Snedeker's a little more class than Lucas Glover here, and you can't.
I agree with. Actually, I don't know if I agree with that. And since when did you become a huge Snedeker fan?
I'm not saying I'm a huge Snedeker fan. I'm just saying that in DraftKings, I do like last week we both agreed. You fade the 10K and above range. We both agreed on that. We both liked Joaquin. He won. Great. This week, I think you can do the same. I'm sure we're not going to talk about him because I think we agree. We both like Scotty Scheffler. I may like him a little more than you. I think you can go down to the 9K range on DK, but I think you can play a guy up here. I like Snedeker. I like Sung Jae, but I like Snedeker a little more. I think he's going to be a little lower end. It's a lot to do with ownership and then winning upside. And I think of all the players in the 10K that can win, I think Glover has the lowest winning upside of those five players right now. Is what it is.
Okay.
I have another one for you that you mentioned, and that is a guy that I like. I think he's a good guy. He's just a nice guy, but he didn't have a great season, and he did come around a little bit towards the end of the year, but still nothing to write home about. And he's at $8,100. Kyle Stanley. I mean, I get that you can have the ownership leverage on him because I don't think a lot of people are going to play him. He's another one. Just like Lucas, he cannot putt. He loses strokes putting on every surface. And just like Lucas, his worst putting surface is Bermuda, which is what he's going to face this week at the Country Club of Jackson. No history here to write home about. Hadn't played here since 2016. He missed the cut in 16 and 15. I don't understand the Kyle Stanley play. Me and you personally both don't like the 8K range on DraftKings. So we both said we might just fade the 8K range altogether. But if I'm playing somebody in here, it's definitely not Kyle Stanley.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I like Kyle Stanley. He's made 7 straight cuts. He's got 3 top 25 finishes in those 7 cuts. I like the form there. And then the stats are there to back it up. I mean, he's top 10 in the field in ball striking. He's 5th in greens in regulation. He's top 10 in strokes gained on par 5 scoring. He's 11th in proximity. So if I'm looking at the major stats that I like, The two biggest are par 5 scoring and proximity. He checks the box there. So that's one of the reasons I like Kyle Stanley. As a matter of fact, I think he's actually a little bit of a value right here at 8,100 when you think about this field and the way he's been playing. So I'm good with him. I think he fits in perfectly in a weak field event. I mean, you could easily see him. I mean, outside of the form, doesn't show great finishes, but he's making cuts. He's doing what he's got to do. So, and look, last week, well, he didn't play last week, but either way, I don't know. I think he's a good play this week. So sorry, I was off. I'm paying attention to my NFL lineups.
Come on, man. All right,
it's NFL season. Sorry.
You got any more bones to pick with me, or we?
I don't have any really bones to pick with you. I mean, other than just you in general as a person. I love you, but it's just is what it is. But.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's talk a little DK
I got some good
Sports.
bets. I got some bets that I want to take.
All right, well, let's talk a little DK Sportsbook. Let's talk about some bets. Yeah, I got a bunch of outright bets here. Maybe a top 20 bet. What do you get? Who do you like? Where are you starting?
Well, I think the shortest odds I like are Adam Schenk at 70-1. A guy that we talk about. We didn't even really mention this so far, but this is a tournament where you've seen the last 5 winners win their first tour event here, and I think you look at a guy like Adam Schenk, who was extremely solid last year. He's at 71 on the DK Sportsbook. I like that. So he could get a win here. So I like that. Jason Duffner at 90-1. I think he's a good play here. Good old Southern boy playing in Jackson, Mississippi. Yikes. So I like some Duff at 90-1. Also, a few other guys I like. Scott Brown at 125-1. I'm name dropping now. I was just with his coach, John Tillery, last weekend. Hung out a good bit with him. He likes how he's playing right now. He says he's just got to put a full round together because he seems to F up like a few holes every single round. But he likes him and how he's playing. So at 125-1, I think Scott Brown is a good play. Also, Seamus Power, who you and I both liked on the show. He's at 175-1. And then Hank Lebioda as well, dropping down a little bit at 100-1. I think are all good plays outright to win. So there you go. Those are my betting plays this week. Scott Brown 125-1, Seamus Power 175-1, Lebioda at 100-1, Duffner 90-1, and Adam Schenk at 70-1. I'm not going any shorter than that. I just don't. That's
shocking for you. I really like the Lebioda and Power call. I've got some different ones here, so I'm going to start off a little shorter. I'm going to go Corey Connors. He's a value on the DK Sportsbook, and when I look at other books out there, he's a value. He's at 40-1. Corey Connors finished runner-up here last year, won on the PGA Tour last year as well. One of the best iron players and long iron players in the game, if you were paying attention last season. He's also in great form. Played really well to close out the year. Obviously likes this golf course. Then I'm going to go with another guy that's got actually a few guys here in a row with really good value on the DK Sportsbook. Wyndham Clark, big Wyndham Clark fan. The guy just scores a lot. He gets hot. He's either gonna be in contention or he's gonna trunk slam, and y'all are gonna be pissed at me for even wasting a half a unit on him. But I think Wyndham Clark has the game to come out here and win on the PGA Tour. I think he wins this season on the PGA Tour. He's 17th in strokes gained putting on Bermuda surfaces. Had a good end to the season with an 18th at the Northern Trust, 31st at the BMW. Finished 17th here at this event in 2018. He's a bomber. He can take advantage of the par 5s out here like Pat mentioned. Like Wyndham Clark at 80-1, I can't quit him. It's Sam Burns. I cannot quit Sam Burns, but he's got just so much upside. He finished 3rd here last season. I was all over him last week, and he missed the cut. But again, the kid is a great ball striker, great putter. 4th in strokes gained putting on Bermuda over the last 100 rounds. So he obviously is comfortable on these putting surfaces. Love the upside of Sam Burns. And then a guy that I don't bet often, but I have him as an outright bet, and I'm going to bet him in top 10 market as well on DraftKings Sportsbook. That is Mr. Patrick RODGERS. He played well.
I like that.
Yes, he played well. This past week, where is he? Patrick RODGERS. Where is Patrick freaking RODGERS? There he is.
He was 47th last week.
What?
He was T47 last week.
Yeah, but I feel like he played better than that. He was 14th here at this event last year. Another top 25 a couple years prior to that. He's 135 to 1 to win. He's another bomber. He's come very close to winning on the PGA Tour. He can score on these par fives, and I like him at 14 to 1 in the top 10 market on DraftKings Sportsbook. So 14 to 1, top 10, 135 to 1 outright. And then finally, I'm going to give you Mr. He's a Korn Ferry grad. This is actually his second time around on the PGA Tour. He had his card, then lost his card, and won it back on the Korn Ferry this past season. And that is Mr. Lanto Griffin. He is at $7,300. He finished 13th at the Greenbrier this past week. He is 150 to 1 on the sports book. He's another bomber. He's kind of a Patrick RODGERS type scorer, bomber, can get hot. 150 to 1, I like that number. So I'm going Lanto and RODGERS, Burns, Clark, and Connors in outright, and Patrick RODGERS at 14 to 1 in the top 10 space. Now, DK Sportsbook is offering some first round leader bets, which is where we hit the 150 to 1 last week. But you're going to have to subscribe to the Tour Junkies email list if you want any action on that. You can go to tourjunkies.com. Scroll to the bottom of the homepage, bottom right. There's the Chalk Bomb email subscription. You can just put in your email there, and you are in. It's a free email we send out every Wednesday night. Read it before you set your lineups. Read it before you make your bets. It's that easy. We had Robbie Shelton last week. You should have been on him. We don't typically bet first-round leaders until the pairings come out, until the tee time waves come out, until we have a better idea of the weather on Wednesday. Yeah. So if you're looking for first-round leader bets on this show every which we record on Monday night, you're probably not going to find them. But we would definitely like to talk them up on Wednesdays. Pat, anything else, buddy? Anything else in your egregious Darius Geis jersey?
No, that's all I got. This is the last time this jersey will be worn. I am retiring it because Darius Geis probably should retire. But anyway.
He's had a lot of injuries. There we go. Thanks for watching. Check out our YouTube channel. Subscribe here to the DraftKings YouTube channel. And check out the podcast. May your screens be green. See ya!